There we are.
There we are.
Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
It is Saturday, January 11th.
11th
is our first show of the new year.
It's 1-1.
1125.
Yeah.
Last week, I woke up with no yada, and then it turned out I was without yada. And my wife said, you should take a COVID test. And I'm like, this isn't COVID. And it was. Well, it said it was.
Yeah.
I had the symptoms I had, no fever. I had the sore throat on Saturday only. I barely had a cough. You didn't catch it. You were with me in the car the day before.
No, that's true. But I've had enough COVID to know that
You've had it 30 times.
I have had it so many times.
You're patient zero, I think.
I could be. I had it like in February of
19.
Yeah.
So welcome to the show, everybody. We do have a really good show coming up today. Yes, I got my yada back.
Yeah.
I didn't get my car back. No, I got my car back. Good morning.
Your voice is back too.
My voice is back. Well, I literally had no voice.
No voice. Imagine that.
I know.
Can you imagine us doing this show? You can't speak.
Sounds like we're in a tin can. Okay, so here's what's happening.
Oh, we got
the wrong sound.
Hold on. There we go. Let's fix that. Let's go to professional.
There. Is that better, Adam? Sorry about that.
Is that better? Hello, everybody.
That should be better. These little things weren't clicked on the thing. Anyway, welcome to the show. Obviously, it's a new year. We normally do our top cars, our top picks, the winner, blah, blah, blah. But today, because of what's happening in California, I think I want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, yes, there are people, all you see are the celebrities that have lost their their multi-million-dollar homes and all their stuff. And a lot of people are like, yeah, but they have multiple homes and they're millionaires. Who cares? Well, let's even forget about that for a second. That's horrible to start with. But Pacific Palisades is 23,000 people.
Yeah.
That's what Bainbridge Island has.
Yes.
Now, every house in Pacific Palisades didn't burn down, but the whole main street did. The high school did, the middle school did, the grade school did, several churches, the two only grocery stores.
Yeah.
All the people worked at all of those.
Yeah.
They all lost their job.
Well, they not only lost their job, they lost the opportunity to have that job in the future because it is going to take years to rebuild and reestablish the community there. And that's assuming you can get construction workers, people, all of the infrastructure in place.
Our future administration in 9 days wants to deport all the people that would be potential workers.
The majority of the people that do that work in California, the skilled laborers that do things like tiling, framing, construction, roofing, all of that stuff, even basic cleanup. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
They have to get rid of all of that waste before they can start doing anything.
And the federal government typically steps in to rebuild after hurricanes and earthquakes and fires. But I have a feeling the federal government's going to say, oh, it's California. Ugh.
Well, we'll see what happens there. We don't know yet.
Yes. But the way it ties into our show is the cars.
Yes.
A lot of obviously classic cars were gone, high-end cars, just regular old everyday cars. And you'll see them at the auction. And maybe in a couple of weeks, I'll pull up a couple of the insurance auctions. They're just burned out shelves, but they still have to sell them. The insurance companies still put them up on the auction block. And, they might go for $50, $100.
Yeah.
Some people buy them for the VIN.
Yeah.
They just want to have the VIN.
Well,
Adam says it perfectly. Some neighborhoods look like a war zone.
Yes. And if you figure there's 10,000 homes, and because it's a fairly well-off neighborhood, most homes are going to have 2 cars. That's 20,000 cars.
Yeah.
And if you figure 3% of that 10,000 are classic or special interest collectors, then you've got probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 to 600 cars in
Just
the classic. Just absolutely
Just gone.
And you can't realistically restore.
Excuse me.
If it's a $50,000 Mustang or a $100,000 Jaguar, you cannot restore those cars after a fire for the replacement value.
No, it would cost.
So they're gone. They're gone forever.
Yeah. And also like movie like let's just say, Billy Crystal's house, which his
Yeah.
house burned down. He lived there since 1974.
Yeah.
Like some ridiculous amount. And a friend of mine was like, wait, Billy Crystal wasn't famous in 1974. How did he afford that house?
Well,
It's like the house was probably 30 grand in 1974. And he
yeah.
probably built it up throughout the years. Because
Yeah.
now it's like a $9 million house.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that's true. My parents bought our place, the house I grew up in Santa Monica, in 1968. And I think it was $40,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the mortgage was $240 a month. Yeah.
Well, I remember the mortgage my mom said that we had on the house in Pennsylvania in the 70s was like 207.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't even imagine.
No.
Like,
No.
anyway, it's mind-boggling.
So it's not what
does Chris say? Several videos, amazing cars being left and parked in parking lots or among streets.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is amazing that no matter who you are, this fire didn't care who you are. And it went through Altadena. It's sad that it's only getting the Malibu part and the Pasadena part. That's what's getting the news. People know who these people are.
Yeah.
But then you see a family. There was a son and his brother and his cousin and his mom. It was like 4 houses in the same neighborhood in Altadena. They all lost their homes.
Yeah.
And these are people that, the guy I think does gardening.
Yeah.
And his mom's like a retired school teacher. Like they have nothing now. And like we were talking about beforehand, insurance will cover only so much. And you don't get land value with insurance.
Right.
You only get rebuilding of the house. So if you live in Pacific Palisades and the house is $5 million, the land is probably 3.5 of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
yeah.
Well, it depends on how they calculate.
They're going to say the view.
Well, that's true. But a house in Malibu, for example, is harder to rebuild than a house in Pacific Palisades. The reason why is infrastructure to get parts, materials, all that stuff to that location. The limitations regarding it. The homes that were burned in Malibu were built before the current zoning and current laws and all that. So there's going to be a whole different set of parameters that they're going to have to go
Well, they're
through.
saying there's houses along PCH where you can now see the water.
Yes.
Because the houses are all gone.
Yeah.
Except for one. Like it skipped over one.
Yeah.
And they're saying those will never get rebuilt because they'll never be able to get permits. And they'll never be able to get probably if they did get permits, what they could build will be nothing like what was there. So those are basically gone. Duke's is gone, right?
Yeah.
And Moon Shadow.
Shadows.
I mean, all these famous restaurants. I'm sure you've been to a couple of times. I've been to a few times.
Yeah.
It's so freaking sad. And yes, the best part of this entire thing was Steve Guttenberg. Did you see him?
No.
KTLA is out there on the street. They got a guy with a mask on, and they're like, "And what is your name, sir?" And he's like, "Steve Guttenberg." He's got his mask down, and he's like, "You have to leave your keys in the car. Leave the car unlocked. I'll move it for you."
Yeah.
Like suddenly he's George Costanza on Seinfeld moving cars across the street.
Oh man.
But he's such a mensch. He's like he lives in Pacific Palisades. I don't know if his house was affected or not. He was in a different up in the hill area, but he was the mayor of Pacific Palisades for a while.
Was he actually the mayor?
The actual mayor, yeah. They always have a celebrity as the mayor.
Ah.
And when I first met him when my friend Jeff did a movie with him, and we were all at his house for, I think it was Memorial Day, like in 2000. And super nice guy, great house in the Palisades. But just to think that whole downtown area of that's like losing Winslow Way and then some.
Oh yeah.
Well, bigger.
And he was right. Leave your keys in the car. If you're abandoning your car, leave your keys in the car. Also, if you're in this situation and you leave your home, you evacuate, leave your doors unlocked. Leave them unlocked. And if you can, open your windows. Because even though, yes, looters are going to come, that's an ugly reality of situations.
You lost the car
like
already.
This. Everything, yeah. So leave the doors unlocked so that fire people don't have to break down your door in order to get inside and do what they need to do. And it's just because under these circumstances, everything changes.
Yeah.
Friend of mine who owns multiple rental apartments and rental units in Santa Monica. He said yesterday real estate agents were like, they had left like multiple voicemails. I need rentals. I've got clients that are ready to go sign 2-year leases, double the rent.
Yeah.
Because people are desperate for places to live. Kids that were going to Palisades High are going to need to go to Santa Monica High or Malibu.
Yep.
And those schools are already over capacity.
Yeah. There's so many other things other than the fact that, Paris Hilton's house burned down. I mean, this thing's much bigger than this. And this is going to be years and years.
Yes.
But the whole car thing, there's a question here about Adam wants to, wouldn't insurance companies make more money off those cars just by scrapping the metal out? Well, that's what they do. They send them to auction and metal scrappers buy them for whatever's left of the burnt metal. That's the value. Although there are some people that it'll be a shell and it'll be a Lamborghini and it'll go for $40,000-$50,000 because someone wants the VIN, I'm guessing. Well, they can build a kit car based on that car.
You can there, even though depending on how badly burned the car was, the steel, if it's a steel framed car, can be used, but most of the modern cars are hydroformed aluminum that are sections and pieces or carbon fiber put together. So you can do some rebuilding, but not extensive rebuilding for a car like that.
Yeah. What does Ray Pepper have to say? Great show last night, except for the pretzel bites. Tastes a little shitty. I didn't make the pretzel bites.
Oh, you were
at the Tacoma Comedy Club all week. 2 shows tonight, already sold on, with Pablo Francisco.
Oh,
he's fantastic.
Really? Also a comedy guy?
Well, yeah, he's the headliner.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You never heard of Pablo Francisco?
No.
He's the guy that does
I've heard of Pablo Cruz.
Maybe that's who it is. No, Pablo Francisco. Fantastic comedian. He does the he does this whole bit where he talks about the movie voice guy. In a world, that guy. That's his, and he does great impressions. So 2 shows tonight sold out. Tomorrow there are still tickets available for the Sunday show.
Okay.
It's the first time I've done 6 shows over 4 days, probably since 2007.
Oh,
so it's been a while.
Yeah.
So the voice is working, but I'm doing a half-hour set each night, or two tonight, 2 last night, 1 Thursday, 1 Sunday. So if you're around tomorrow night, I guess there's tickets still available
tomorrow night
for the Sunday show. Anyway, but thank you, Ray, for coming. I thought Ray was coming tonight, and then he sent me pictures this morning, and I'm like, you were there? Like, I left right away because I wanted to get home to Mabel because she's home alone, the dog. And so I didn't stay till the end of the show. I just did my set and left after the second show. But I didn't realize Ray was there. Scott was at the first show.
Oh,
our director.
Yeah,
with his girlfriend and his mom and dad, which was
very nice.
I think it's his stepmom. Anyway,
we got a couple other comments too.
We have Jacob Angel saying, I couldn't imagine wanting to stay there. There's some people that's their home.
Yeah.
And if you've been there 50 years and this happened once, you would say, well, maybe it won't happen for another 50. There are people that say this is climate change. There's people that say this is bad infrastructure. Everybody's got their excuse.
Yes.
The earth is 1.3 degrees Celsius warmer than it has ever been. So,
right.
And these winds were hurricane force winds.
Well, we had a number of conditions that were problematic, including 2 years ago, significant rainfall, lots of new vegetation grew up in the LA area. So it was wonderfully green there, very nice, unusual because we had so much rainfall. Then that was followed immediately by severe drought. So all of that wonderful lush vegetation turned dry.
Yeah.
So it was unfortunately ideal for Santa Ana wind conditions, which are problematic in that area.
This is our weather report that we, Raffi the weatherman.
And so that confluence of events and fire, and once fire is going, if there's fuel, it's going to do whatever it wants to do.
Yeah.
And there's so much of it, the dry brush,
now
trees.
One thing I didn't hear about any electric cars exploding. Didn't hear that once.
That's
now
good.
I don't know if that means the people, when they left, they took their car with them, because most of the people that bailed were in a car. They didn't just walk out of their house, and they did drive. So you do assume some of the cars survived that way, but you don't hear about somebody that had their their truck or their car sitting there that's electric, and the fire comes through and the car just explodes. You'd think some Teslas and other EVs burned.
Well, they probably did burn, but my guess is they didn't explode because the fire may have moved through it slowly enough to where it was heating up, and just melting.
Just melted everything.
And you have a lot of high heat there. Things like electronics, home electronics, plastics, things like that are in your home, they're just melting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just hope, I mean, they rebuild, it's going to take forever. The car situation, obviously people are going to be looking for apartments, people are going to be looking for cars. The car market's going to shift a little bit for a while.
Yep.
The insurance market's going to get to the point, I guarantee a few companies are going to go under because of this.
Well, they're going to have to change. There's a couple major things that'll have to change. I think the metrics for insuring in that area are going to have to change. If I was an insurance company or working with insurance companies, I would try and work some sort of mandated government program for wildfire mitigation. I know that there is some, but there needs to be a whole new way of looking at that because we've had way too many fires.
Well, but the thing with Palisades, it's not in the middle of, I mean, it's not in the mountains. I mean,
that's the whole point.
Right. It went, and it's not like the woods.
Right. And so
like most of the fires when they burn, it's in the woods. And yes, you get the cabin here and the big house here. And
sure,
this is a freaking neighborhood.
Yeah.
With house, just boom, gone.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think the insurance companies are all going to say, we don't insure any houses that are wood. We don't insure houses, that don't fit these codes. There can be new fire codes. There's one video of a guy inside his house. He built the house to withstand 2,200 degrees. And he's in the house with the fires going right past his house. Thick glass windows, metal and wood construction, or metal and concrete, I guess.
Wow.
And the house survived.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And then the house that jumped over on the Malibu beach, I think it was the newest construction of all the houses, and it was built for earthquake. So it had very thick walls. It had very thick concrete posts.
Yeah.
And that's why it survived. It's just unbelievable. Let's see what Dan has to say. Insurance is gambling. If they see too high risk, they won't take the risk. They won't take the bet.
That is true. A friend of mine in California was telling me just a couple weeks ago. So before the fire, his home insurance, which had been about $2,500 a year, he got a notice that said it's going to increase to $8,000 a year. And
it's almost like they knew.
Well,
some of them canceled. State Farm apparently in July.
Oh yeah, that's
started
true.
saying we're not covering fire.
Yeah. Well, they're in the business of assessing risk. Maybe they talked to people who said this thing is going to go. And it's hard to know.
On the Joe Rogan show, there's a clip that's going viral from July also, where he says he's talking to a guy who's a fire expert. And the guy said with a big wind and Southern California is going to go up in flames. This is in July this past year. Like the guy predicted it. He's like, all the conditions are right. If a big wind comes through here, it's over.
Wow.
And fires are still going on.
That's right.
I mean, I feel horrible for the friends down there. You said you've had some friends lose some stuff, but it's just sad.
Yeah. Well, two people that I know lost their homes, and it's devastating. You may remember the Oakland fire in the early 90s.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, he tells the story. He said, I was told to evacuate. I grabbed a handful of stuff, threw it into the most valuable car I had, and hopped in the car and drove down the hill. And the last thing I saw was looking in the rearview mirror, flames at the top of the hill when my perspective had changed. And he came back and the place was completely down to the ground. He ended up, they were originally thinking about rebuilding. They decided not to, and they bought another place in Piedmont. And it took,
I think I said Pacific Palisades.
Yeah. But they bought, the people that bought the home and rebuilt it 9 years later, it was done. 9 years. That's how long it took.
Yeah.
And that wasn't one of 10,000 homes. That was one of hundreds of homes.
Yeah.
So,
And you can say, okay, well, there's regulations, there's a lot of red tape. And even if the state, like let's say Governor Newsom down there just said, you know what, no red tape, any house. Well, now you're building unsafe houses.
well,
Like you can get the permit to build, but you still have the inspection process takes forever.
if you have one home that burns down, it takes 2 years to get it completely rebuilt, back together, all ready to go, appliances installed,
Right.
beds in bedrooms, pillows, pillowcases, curtains, all of
Pictures
that.
on the walls. Yes.
2 years.
Right.
Now that's one home. Imagine what it's going to take to do 10,000.
Yeah. This is sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, we talk about cars. And well, first off, Jake says the wildfire has been so bad the last 5 years. Homeowners policies have already canceled. Yeah,
That's
canceled.
true. We have
just the fire part though.
Yeah.
Like if you had somebody broke into your house and smashed a window, that was still covered. It
Right.
wasn't they weren't canceling policies outright. It was the fire portion of it.
Yeah. Well, and also for a while now they've been creeping up on this. You can't have a wood burning stove
Right.
in your home in California, especially if you're in the mountains. And you can't. It's not that you just say, well, I won't burn it. They go, no, you got to take it down. Chimney comes down, comes down, all of it, and then that gets cleaned up. Or and they won't even let you leave the flue from it.
Yeah.
If you say, well, I'll put in a propane or I'll put in, nope, whole thing's got to come out. And if you have wood siding and all the trees in the area, you got to go through all of that stuff to make sure that you can pass the insurance. And even then, your insurance payment is sky high.
Right. Plus the claims. I mean, insurance companies say no first.
Yes.
That's their first response is no. What is
and
deny,
deny,
delay, depose, as
yes.
we heard so sadly from
the
healthcare incident. So
what else have we got here?
That's it. We got them all.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, we do have an auction update from
Ray.
Dealer auctions stuffed with cars. Cars are getting cheaper. Well, I think people need to replace some cars down in California.
Well, and Ray's absolutely right that pre-owned cars are starting to creep up in value because the average price for a new car, I think, is $47,000. That's a lot of money. And
well, used cars are $29,000.
That's right,
which is insane. Now, here's what happens: the dealer auction is stuffed with cars right now for one reason, Ray. The price MMR, which is Manheim Market Report, which is kind of a universal pricing guide that a lot of auctions use, other than Manheim. Manheim obviously uses it. It creeps up right this time of year. This is what's called tax season. We're in tax season, so cars are creeping up in MMR value, and then all of a sudden, like March 3rd, 4th, 5th, boom, they just drop.
Oh,
so now's the time to sell. If you're planning to buy, I would wait.
Wait to buy.
Wait. Prices are about to go really high up because of this reason. And the reason it's called tax season is this is when people start filing their taxes and they start getting their refunds. So dealer lots start stocking up now because they've got to get the cars ready for sale for February, because there are people that, they get their W-4, W-2, W-9. What is it? W-2.
Most people get a W-2.
They get their W-2. They go to H&R Block immediately, get the tax refund, the anticipation loan, and it was like, boom, they go out and they buy a car because now they've got money to put down. They've got their $1,000, $1,500 down. A lot of dealerships used to do this thing where they would set up with a company like H&R Block in the dealership.
Oh,
you show up with your tax returns,
and you can apply that directly.
Directly to the car. And if let's say you're getting a $3,000 return,
oh my goodness,
and you want to put $2,000 down, you leave the dealership with a new car and $1,000 in your pocket. So now that's what people are saying. Oh, this is he already said that. The new ZR1 pricing was announced at $174,995.
Oh my goodness! Wow, 1,064 horsepower. That's astonishing. So 107. Let's call it $175,000.
Yeah, we can round up
for the new ZR1. So
there's a Corvette, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. So it's the premium. It's the highest, most performance-oriented Corvette. But it's competitive against the Ferrari.
Yeah.
And a Ferrari, if you can get a new one, is closer to 300,000.
So it's half the price,
Yeah,
and it's excuse me, American made.
that's right.
So you got that. Now the Corvette C8 overall,
Mhm.
you can buy them in the 50s now at the auction,
Yes, you can.
which is amazing. That those were going for so far over sticker when they first came out. Of course, they came out during the pandemic, so
Yeah.
that kind of everything was going for every sticker. But it's even a base model. The LT1 I think is the base, the 1LT.
Yes, 1LT.
Those are still amazing cars.
Oh yeah, they're phenomenal. The amount of engineering and performance you get in that car, mid-engine, fantastic. The interior is comfortable, multiple amenities, camera, rear camera, side camera, multiple airbags. It's a premium automobile, and you're getting it essentially for the average price, a little slightly higher than the average price of a new car.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a performance car with quite a lot of
2 years,
visual
2 years of annual maintenance on a Ferrari is about the price of one Corvette now.
Well, the annual maintenance on a Ferrari is not that much.
I thought it was like $25,000.
Oh no! You can get away with about $5,000 a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 10 years.
10 years.
10 years of maintenance on a Ferrari is
Unless you
can own
have
a Corvette.
something, unless you have a premium Ferrari, like a top of the line.
Well, they need to take the engine out to do the oil change. One of those.
They need to
ridiculous
take the
things.
engine out to blow your nose.
To look at it.
Ferraris are
I
extremely
apologize that
complex.
by the way, my shirt is being affected by the green screen. I apologize.
Oh well, that's okay. So is my.
Look at that.
That is green screen. Look at it. It almost.
You look like Marty McFly.
Disappears.
Kiss her already. Kiss her, Doc.
What
I'm not Doc. George, kiss her.
What I'm drinking is radioactive.
Yes. Oh, there it goes. That is wild. So if you have any questions about cars, buying, selling, trading, leasing, credit, repairing, restoring, whatever. Now, we talked last week about the Stokes auction.
Yes.
Which I don't think it's live yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ray Pepper. Ray Pepper is one of those people that you have to say his whole name.
Ray Pepper.
There's some people you say, Raffi, Dan. But
Just
Ray is
imagine,
Ray Pepper.
What if Ray was a Middle Eastern sultan? Then he'd be Sultan Pepper.
Oh my God. Sultan Pepper. You really had to push it, didn't you?
Well, I was working it as it was happening. It was just,
No one got my push it reference. Salt and pepper.
Oh my goodness. That's
good.
80s. That's 80s talking right there.
Ray Pepper. But Ray Pepper mentioned to us that the Saab that was the lowest sale price ever in the history of Stokes auction. It literally was $15 over the minimum starting bid of $250, went for $265.
It sold again?
No, I don't know if it's up yet.
Okay. I thought it sold again for $265.
No, I'm sure it's going to go for plenty of money because it's a convertible going into the spring. That's why I've got the cabriolet. We'll have to do a show from it soon. Have you even seen the cabriolet?
I saw it before some of the work was done on it.
Yeah, it's all good to go.
Okay.
Other than there's some body work in the mirror. But I think I'm timing it just right to get rid of it when the spring is about to happen. I mean, if somebody wanted it now, I'd probably let it go.
There you go.
Because I could use the space.
We'll take some pictures and put it up on the next show.
I have
See
pictures.
what we can do.
I just can't do it because I don't have this computer hooked up to to the iCloud. Anyway,
we'll get our interns on that.
What are you guys doing? They just sit over here.
They do. They sit over there. They never do anything.
They're sitting there. They're on their computers, on their phones.
On their phones all the time. Well,
anyway,
we can't complain considering what we pay them.
Yeah. I'm not sure what car.
So I had a couple. I usually get texts from folks. They text me to say, "Can you answer this on the?" So an interesting one. Let me see if I can find it here.
All right.
Actually, this one was an email. Someone has asked me about Key Savvy.
Oh, don't. I know the guy that started. They used to work for Shred.
Key Savvy, for those of you who don't know, and you can offer up a more detailed explanation. It's basically an online sales venue for automobiles.
It's a transaction platform.
Right.
It's basically what Tread was without listing your car. You just use a transaction.
But they have a very clever methodology, which I think is insidious, whereby if you advertise your car on, let's say, Auto Trader or Facebook Marketplace or whatever it is, they have people out there trolling used cars, and they find it, they email you and they say, I'm interested in your car, but if you list it here and use this listing service, I can buy it and get a tax benefit.
Right.
And these people are paid by KeySavvy to contact you and get you on. And there are multiple people that will contact you. So you start thinking, well, maybe I should
But
just list
KeySavvy
on
only makes
KeySavvy.
money. Well, no, you can't list on KeySavvy. KeySavvy
You
only
use
makes money.
the service.
Right. You only make money if you use the service.
Right.
If you don't use, that was it. Like Tread, you had to list your car on our site. We did have a transact only platform, and it is our old CTO that's who started it. And Auto Trader, we have something similar. Full disclosure, I work for Cox Automotive, who owns Auto Trader and Kelly Blue Book. We have, we have the original platform, but you do have to list your car. And we can talk about, I don't know that that's a scam necessarily, but that's just kind of their marketing.
It's not a scam. I want to clarify
it's kind
that.
of a marketing ploy.
But you, it's a way for them to utilize, to get it, because these people aren't going to buy your car. What they're doing is they're upselling the opportunity for you to go put your car through KeySavvy.
Right. So yeah, and it does here. KeySavvy, what they do that's good is they protect you. Because they kind of act as an escrow in a way. Like you, if I'm buying a car from you and I don't know you, I don't pay you. I pay KeySavvy.
Right.
KeySavvy pays you.
Right.
And they help us with the titling and everything. And because they're a dealer, if there are any dealer benefits, such as the $4,000 EV credit, you can get it from a private sale, which you could not get normally.
Now that's a benefit for a car that has something like that.
Right.
But if you've got a 2014 Acura and you're looking to sell it and you've got it advertised for $17,000, I don't think it's worth spending the time, the effort, or going through to have that sort of protection, because it's just not necessary. Sell the car. They're
what if they give you a bad cashier's check?
Well, you don't take a bad cashier's check.
Some people don't know. They assume a cashier's check is as good as cash.
Well, it's not. And hopefully they're educated well enough to know that you don't take a bank check. If you're going to take a bank check, you go to the bank with that bank check, and then you have them process it, put it through, and you don't release your vehicle until that the funds are physically in your account.
People are idiots.
That is true.
This makes things more idiot proof. Like if you go to Auto Trader right now and you list your car, or you go to buy a car, you agree to this with the buyer and seller. You guys get together, you go on a test drive. I want to buy your car. Get you the 10 grand that you're asking, but I only have 4 grand. So can I give you 4 now and pay you 6 later? Well, no, but you can get financed through us. We have a whole finance platform. So you can apply for the loan. You can get everything you need. You can get your VSC, your gap, your warrant, whatever.
Right. But the same thing is true with me. If somebody says, look, I'll give you 4,000 now and 6,000 later, I go, that's perfectly fine. The vehicle stays here. You don't get the car.
But when people buy a car at a dealership hands in the car with the down payment.
Well, that's true.
So
if they show up with financing, or if they do dealer financing.
Right, but we give you the financing.
That's also a benefit to you because there's 2% or 2 points on the back end.
Not always.
Sometimes.
If your credit's bad,
yeah,
there's nothing. We're paying a fee to get you financed.
Well, that's a whole other story, because if you look at there's a chart I recently saw where people who buy automobiles now, there is a higher percentage of bad credit now than there was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And 20 years ago.
Yes.
So you have more people, a higher saturation of bad credit. And it's probably unfair to say bad credit, because these are lower credit scores. Challenge credit. Lower credit scores than
rebuilding.
By the way, do you know what the highest credit score is you can have?
It depends on the bureau. Some are 850, some are 900.
There's a 1,000 point credit score you can get. Isn't that insane? I asked a buddy of mine, and he said,
which bureau is that? Because I know like Equifax does one, and TransUnion they have. Not only do they have their own score for the brand, then they have different. There's a Beacon score. There's all the. It's insane.
I thought 800 was a good credit score.
It used to be 700. If you had 700 or better, you were
golden.
You could walk in and
You're
buy
gold,
a car,
baby.
signature only.
You could walk into nightclubs.
Yeah, Well, it used to also be if you had a gold card, then they went platinum.
Yeah.
Then they pretty soon they're going to go argon.
What's the one Seinfeld has? Is that the
The black
the
card,
black?
the Centurion, and he started that because he was doing commercials for American Express, and people would always say, oh, there's only two people that have the black card. That's the CEO and Jerry Seinfeld. And Seinfeld's like, there's no such thing.
Yeah.
And so he actually met with them and he said, does this exist? And they go, no. And they go, do you want it to? He goes, sure. So he goes, all right. And they gave him one. So he had the first one. And now it's an invite only. You have to spend, if you're spending over $250,000 a year on your Amex Platinum card, then you become eligible. And they just send it to you. And it's $10,000 a year. Well, they send you the offer. It's $10,000 a year
to be a member.
To have the black card. But you get, like, in the lounge. I have the platinum card, and that's not that. I mean, you just pay $695 and you get it. I mean, literally, I've heard of people with 550 credit scores getting a platinum American Express card.
But what's the value? What are you buying for?
Here's the value.
Bucks?
I get into the lounge, the Centurion lounges at the airports.
Okay.
And every time I go in, I get you free drinks, free lunch, free dinner, whatever time of day it is. Free Wi-Fi. You can hang out, 2-3 hours in between or before a flight. Most of them have showers. If you're a big traveler and you want to take a quick shower, that's one benefit. So I count that as $50 every time I go. I'm like, okay, that's $50 because I don't have to buy any food at the airport.
So I guess if you're traveling
a lot,
4
that's
times
good.
a month, that makes sense.
Yes. So that's one. You get, I think it's $20 off of if you pay your Wi-Fi or your wireless bill with them. You get $20 credit per month. That's $240 right there.
Do you get points?
You get points.
Oh.
You get 150,000 if you spend so much in the first few months, which I did, and I got 5 nights when I went to Pittsburgh to do comedy. I got my hotel rooms covered for free.
So if I was going to do something like that, if I knew I was going to buy, say, $100,000 car, I might buy it with that card.
If the dealership will do it. Most dealerships will charge you 3% on top of it to use the credit card. Usually a dealership will only do $5,000 on a credit card.
There are restaurants now charging 3% on a credit card.
Yeah,
that seems ridiculous.
They're just passing the buck, as they say.
So you get 3%. You get 20% tip, 3% service charge. Then you got an additional service charge sometimes they add. Then you got the tax.
Right. And last night at the comedy club, when Scott was there, he was mentioning, his girlfriend said, hey, you didn't put a tip down, but the tip was included. They put a service charge on it.
Yeah.
And I remember 93, the first time I was at the Improv in Santa Monica. A friend of mine was a comic, his girlfriend worked there. She'd make like $300 a night. And I'm like, that was a lot of money in 93 to make doing
in one night
to be a server. $300. And then she said, yeah, it's because they put 15% service fee on, and then people tip 15% on top.
Oh,
because they don't know.
They don't know any better.
That was like unheard of back then.
Yeah.
So blame the Improv. 2 drink minimum, 15% automatically added.
It's the Improv's fault.
It's all the Improv's fault. Now, Ray Pepper is at DAA, which is Dealer Auto Auction. There's a beautiful 5 Series, 100,000 miles. He paid $800 for it. Let me see if I can pull up the picture.
Wow. Nice. 5 Series is very nice car.
There it is.
Let's take a look at that. You see that it's blowing out a little bit because the lights are so bright.
Oh, you stop with the lights.
Let's see.
It's not looking good.
Yeah, it looks good. That looks good. Good looking car. $800. The wheels.
I hope that's your wife putting on the license plate, not you.
Yeah.
Because you're dressed like a little.
The wheels are worth $800.
Yeah, wheels and tires. There's something wrong with it, Ray.
Oh, I'm sure there is. But
I mean,
but again,
you think it needs oil?
It might.
He's got a huge
can of oil.
You can't even see it because the lights are so bright.
If you're
Drives
willing,
perfect. Smell essence of antifreeze. Oh, blown head gasket, but that's okay. For $800, send it to Stokes.
I would be surprised if it has a blown head gasket. That's not something you would find typically in a car with 100,000 miles.
It's a BMW.
Well, but even if you needed a whole new engine for that car, you can get them. They come from Russia. Yeah, you can put a whole new engine in that car, and it might be to $8,000 to do that.
Yeah.
And so now you got a beautiful BMW with the essence of
So
antifreeze.
it was the first car of the auction from Quorum. So it was a trade in at Quorum Auto. So it's a new dealer trade, and so there might be nothing wrong. That's what I love about the auctions. And someday we'll do a whole auction episode. We'll just go. But again, the company I work for owns Manheim Auto Auction. I love car auctions.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Love the
A
car
lot
auction.
of fun.
And if you ever want to know what it sounds like to be mentally insane,
Oh, jeez.
stand like if there's 9 lanes running at once, stand between 4 and 5, and you say, hey, you hear it all going at once inside your head. Like there's people wearing headphones, there's people wearing earplugs. But there's certain dealerships that, if it's a new car dealer, they're not going to sell that car. They'll send that right to the auction. Doesn't matter how nice that car is. It's too old. That's probably, what is that, an 08 5 Series? They're not going to send that through.
That's true.
So, and they probably, if they're only giving, if they took $800 for it, I can't imagine what they gave on a trade-in. $500? Because if it's the first car running through, they're not. So that's the other thing is if you buy cars late in the auction, you can tend to find really good deals.
That makes sense.
Why? Why do you think? Let's see if what your thought process is. Late, we're talking the 300th car in the auction.
My guess is that at that point, people have bought or spent what they have needed.
They've run out of money.
And they have no more money. And so the stuff has to go through the auction. So if you were planning to spend, let's just say $10,000 and buy 10 cars, you get down to this one, and now you only got $9,300 left, and you're thinking, geez, I don't know, and so this thing is you're in a crowd of people that also have $300, $400, $500 left to spend.
Right. And you're using very basic numbers. I mean, I had a friend the other day told me about 25 cars.
Yeah.
For $300,000.
There you go.
So he got some good numbers, but he has a line of credit. Once you max out your line of credit,
that's it.
You're out. Also, the dealers sometimes, especially if it's like Quorum, if they've got like a row of cars, let's say they're running, 80 cars. When you get to car 70, they already know if they've made their money for the day. They might be up $30,000 at that point. They're going to let those last 10 cars just go.
Yeah.
They'll just be like, let's get rid of them. Like, why keep it going?
The best situation at an auction is when you know that the auctioneer is eager to move it along. So they're not working the room anymore and stuff is just selling.
Yeah. Has it been a steam coming from the hood? I think he means hood, not good. Not overheating. Steam coming from the hood? That's overheating, Ray.
Steam is never good from under the hood. Dan could be right.
Heated seats feel good on his tuchus. Touche, my friend. Touche.
Oh my.
Yeah.
There is a pour-in that you can use that will help mitigate head gasket failure.
Well, there's K-Seal, which I love. First time if I have any leaks at all in the cooling system, I put a thing of K-Seal in. It's a little bottle about this big.
Yep.
You put it in, you get the car up to speed. It's probably, I think you have to drive it 100 miles total.
Seals up.
It seals that shit up. It's amazing how good it is. And the problem that happens is then you need to flush it. Because if not, it shows up and people go to open the cap and they go, oh, they put additive in there.
Yeah. So
you got to clean it out. But he's taken to the Manheim mech shop, the mechanic shop. They do great work there. I can't believe more dealers don't do what Ray does.
And they're fairly reasonable.
Very reasonable. They're like $55 an hour or something like that.
Yeah, that's.
But you could literally. This is what I love about the car business, and there's just people that overthink things. Ray does it right. Ray underthinks things. That's possible. No, you literally
Ray underthinks.
Ray, you're an underthinker. Ray Pepper.
Pepper, the underthinker.
You know what's funny, Ray Pepper, is I almost did the joke. I didn't even know you were there last night because again, I thought you were coming tonight. Hopefully they fixed your tickets because I thought you were down for anyway. I was going to write a joke about the fact that people have friends that have you use the whole name. Like there are people in California, some of Josh's friends. I was Dan Rosenberg. It's Dan Rosenberg. It was never just Dan. It was Dan Rosenberg. That was the whole name. And Ray Pepper's one of those people. He's Ray Pepper.
There you go.
Anyway, you're gonna do Sultan again?
Nope.
You're not gonna push it?
No, but if
Push it
he,
real good?
if his daughter was named Isabel, she'd be Bell Pepper. Just silence, complete silence.
If Ray if Ray became a Russian, he'd be Red Pepper.
That's right.
They still call him the Reds? I don't know. Hunt for Red Pepper.
Hunt for Red Pepper. Again, 1980s.
Yeah. Bruce McBroom worked on that fine film.
Oh, did he?
Hunt for Red October, not Hunt for Red Pepper. So my point is, you could buy a car at the auction, send it in to the mechanic shop, get the oil changed, get the oh yeah, this is a funny story. I'm going to tell this story too in a second. You can get the oil changed, you get the tires changed, you can get the brakes done, you can get all the body work done. They'll take all the dings out, they'll touch it up. If it cracked windshield, you can get a windshield replacement cheaper than anywhere else.
Wow.
Get all the work done, then get a complete detail, put the car right on your lot for less money than if you bring the car to your lot and you have someone working for you doing all that work. Ends up being cheaper. Frontline ready like that. I don't know why more people don't do that. Anyway, so Ray Pepper sends me a link. So some guy who calls himself Rick the Car Guy.
Okay.
He calls himself the King of Cars.
Oh, dear.
I am the King of Cars.
That's never good.
And the videos, he has a car lot, and it looks like he's got like a shed from Home Depot.
Oh dear.
As his dealer office.
Oh dear.
And he's got like 5 cars that are probably 3,000 or 4,000 at the most. Like these are beaters with a heater. I think he's in Florida. I'm not sure.
Now it's making sense.
But he goes on and on. I'm the King of Cars. I'm the King of Cars. Well, he's selling a seminar.
Oh.
For $299, he'll train you, because right before COVID, when he got in the business, and he made so many mistakes, but learn from his mistakes. $299, I'll train you how to be a good car dealer. And Ray made a comment: you can't be undercapitalized. You have to have insurance. All the things you have to be a car dealer. It's not just, it's not as easy as this guy's making it sound.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, you can get up and running for under $6,000. Well, how can you buy cars?
Yeah. You need the cash to buy them.
Right. And if you have shitty credit, you're not getting a line of, like, if you're a new car dealer and you've got good credit, you could walk in literally day one and get $250,000 from one of the flooring companies. They'll fund the cars, but they own those cars.
That's right.
And they're charging you every 30 days. If you don't, and you have 90 days to get rid of the car, sometimes 60. Then you take it back to the auction and you lose your ass, and now you're paying. And there's so many guys I see that start dealerships, they buy a bunch of cars and they never sell them. And anyway, so the guy, Ray, makes a comment. I make a comment then, just as myself. And I just said, if you're the King of Cars, you're doing that well, why are you selling $299 seminars? You wouldn't have time to do $299 seminars. And he blocked me as well.
Oh,
I the first time I've been blocked on TikTok.
Wow. A TikTok block.
Yeah, a talk block. I was talk blocked. But it's just amazing, these people that sell seminars. Like, it's the real estate guys there. Oh, I flip houses. I make millions of dollars flipping houses. Goodness. No, you don't.
No, because if you made millions of dollars flipping houses, you would not, like you said, have time to do the seminars.
Not only would I not have time, I would not tell people what I'm doing, because I'm building competition for myself.
Unless you really love sort of teaching and you want to impart your wisdom, and that's a thing that you do.
That's fine.
Then you do it, because believe me, as an educator for many years, I don't do it for the money.
Do it for the show.
I do it
1 for the money, 2 for the show.
I do it because I enjoy seeing young people learn and prosper from their learning and go out and participate in industry.
Yeah, but you're not doing a Trump University type thing.
That's
like,
true.
I'm going to make you rich and I'm going to teach. I mean, you're a legitimate college professor.
That's true.
There's a little bit difference to that.
Yeah.
Seminars today, by the way.
Oh,
now,
my goodness.
I did a seminar. I did do a.
It's almost worth paying $299 just to see what it is.
I know.
Or to go there and mock it. Is it online seminar? I bet if you went, you'd be the only one there.
Oh no, he's got people that are buying it.
Oh, it's just ridiculous. People, please save your money. Rick the Car Guy. We shouldn't even talk about him. No, that's
here he is teaching a seminar at the Embassy Suites.
Oh my goodness. All right, we don't have to spend time talking about Rick.
Well, just for shits and giggles. Hold on a second.
Oh no. Oh dear.
So here's the one.
I made a video encouraging people to get into the car business now.
For
and
people
then,
not well
bam,
capitalized,
I
highest
run
auction fees,
across
labor parts,
this
detail,
comment.
rental cost, insurance,
I
and use
must
caution. Be
make a
very
video.
liquid.
My name is Rick Dyer, and I am the king of cars. Ray's Peppers, our Radical Ray, aka
Raised peppers.
wrote, "Good God, terrible time to enter for people not well capitalized. Highest auction fees, labor, parts, detail, rental costs, and insurance in history. Use caution. Be very liquid if entering the car business." There's two types of people in this world. There's consumers and there's producers. Right here is a consumer. And he is absolutely right for consumers, because they would look at all this here and be scared. But I look at all this and say, oh my God, it's time. If I was the average person reading this and I wanted to get into the car business, I would be terrified. Number one, if all people was well capitalized that wanted to get into the car business,
Was well capitalized.
no one would ever get into the car business. You got to start somewhere. You got to take a chance. And I'm proof you don't have to be well capitalized. I got into the business before COVID-19 and I strived. And then I made a lot of freaking mistakes by hiring people and making people partners that I shouldn't have. And I lost everything. So I had to restart after COVID, which was
All
right. Anyway,
I'm so tired of everybody with a megaphone.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I love
he's spending all this time, all this effort to do all of this. It's
funny though. It's
just
like,
do the work. Just actually go out and do the work,
right,
instead of doing.
And what's funny is he's saying, one of the comments is like, this guy's been to several of the seminars. How many seminars do you have to take to learn how to start a car dealership?
I think you only need one, really.
If anybody wants to start a car dealership, I will tell you for free. We'll do a whole episode.
We'll do a whole episode on how to start a car
I've had
dealership.
5 dealer licenses, I think, throughout my lifetime. You take a class. I mean,
it's not hard to get a license too.
Well,
get your dealer's license.
It is kind of hard if you have no credit or you can't read or write.
But that's not that's a different component from the intellectual component, where you go and you apply and you go through the process. That's not the hard part.
Right.
The hard part is having the money, having the insurance, having everything put together so that you are a legitimate dealer.
Yeah.
That is hard.
Now, I did a seminar in the car industry before, so I'm not making fun of this guy for that.
Was it a comedy seminar?
It was.
Okay.
It was Comedy Cars.
Comedy Cars.
I had comedycars.com at the time. And what my idea is using humor to be a better salesperson on the lot.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
It was sales training. And I rented a hotel room in Culver City and I faxed.
Again.
This wasn't 80s. This was in the 2000s. I faxed every dealer in the LA area that I could get their fax number, because you go to the website, someone still had a fax number. So I would just fax. I was just, and it was e-fax. So I just hit a button. I didn't have to physically put a piece of paper through. And I had 20 people, and the first one was free. I said, we're doing a test. It's free for the afternoon. You get pizza. You'll get this nice binder. Like I put some time and money into this idea, and I had 20 people sign up, and I think 12 or 13 showed up.
Not bad.
And I did the training, and I believe it was like 3 hours, lunch break, 3 hours. So it was like a 6-hour seminar, and it was fun. And I ended up getting a job at a dealership and going back into the car business instead. And as I'm at this dealership, about 6 months in, they hire this new desk manager, and he's looking at me going, "Why do you look so familiar?"
He was one of your students.
He brought his whole sales team.
Oh,
he was a sales manager at Midway Ford, and he brought his 6 guys. It's an off day, and he convinced them all to come. And he goes, "Yeah, we use some of your stuff to this day."
That's great.
And it was all about how to approach a customer, how to be likable, how to be memorable, and even if you're not a funny person, if you use humor, it makes things better. So that was the one seminar I did. I didn't even charge for it. I was just doing a test. I have the tape somewhere. You should probably watch this sometime.
I would love to see.
Oh my God.
25-year younger Dan. I would enjoy seeing that. You should do like a edit for the highlights.
Yeah.
And just put together a short reel and we can run it.
Wow. Comedy Cars. That was my Comedy Cars dealer training, I think is what I called it.
Oh dear. All right. Well, we're
Oh my
approaching
God.
we're approaching the hour here. Anything we want to close on? We haven't done gas prices in a while. We could certainly do that.
They've been almost identical as I drive
Mm.
past, and because I'm going to Tacoma every night. I cannot believe it's like 360
Yeah.
and 415 for diesel,
Yeah.
and then it's not changed in like 3 or 4 months now.
The lowest I think is the 280 something. And I'm guessing it's either Oklahoma or Mississippi.
Oh, we're gonna do that. All right.
Well,
hold
we
on.
certainly could.
We might as well. Type in what you think the lowest price in the country is. Type it in the comments while I'm looking it up. AAA gas prices.
How much is gas where you live?
Why did that not come up?
You crashed the internet.
Wow.
Yeah. It was that car huckster. He crashed the internet for you. You're blocked. You're blocked.
I guess so. All right. The average is 306.
Mm.
Cheapest in the country is, how much did you guess?
283.
259
Wow.
in Oklahoma, where the wind comes.
259 is incredibly low.
Ray made it to Mannheim with the BMW.
Well, there you go.
295. Is that
Adam
your
was
guess,
two-
Adam?
295. That's
250. Close. 259.
a little bit of dyslexia there.
Oklahoma is the cheapest mid-grade. Oklahoma has the cheapest premium, and Oklahoma has the cheapest diesel. Oklahoma wins the all 4 categories.
Wow.
And for highest, Hawaii, California, Washington.
Wow. 470 for mid-grade, 454. Actually, for California, for regular, 438. That's actually pretty low.
Yeah,
When
that
I
is really
left,
low
it
for
was-
California.
When I left, it was 470.
Yeah. So gas prices are going down. Apparently, they're going to be under $1 soon with the new administration.
Oh, well, yeah.
Eggs are going to be free.
Eggs will be free. All right. We'll see about that.
We're going to own
Maybe
Greenland and Canada are going to be part of the United States.
Maybe you just crack eggs and put them in your gas tank, and that's
Maybe.
that. Your car will run on eggs
Yeah.
because it'll be free.
And we'll get oil out of the Gulf of America.
Yes, that makes sense. Oh my goodness! All right.
I don't know.
Well,
I mean, what would you call the Gulf of Mexico if you had to change the name?
if I had to change the name,
I don't know why, but is it Gulf of Mexico because the water, it's Mexico's this
it's
part?
actually a gulf.
It is actually a Gulf.
Yeah.
But I mean, Pennsylvania, United States, you got Florida, you've got,
Yeah.
Louisiana, they're all in the Gulf. So why is it the Gulf of Mexico?
Well, because most of that land in that area was historically Mexico, and at the time when it was named,
It was the
most
Gulf
of the
Mexico.
mariners that would come into that would sail into that area,
The
knew they
baseball
were
team?
coming to. Yes, they knew they were coming into Mexico, so that's why it's named the Gulf of Mexico. Because I think, although I'm not sure of this, the majority of the people that were sailing through there probably thought that Florida was part of Mexico, and that's a reasonable assumption because most of Mexico is this giant landmass in the other direction.
Right.
So the assumption would be that, yeah, it is the Gulf of Mexico.
Yes. His analysis, it is a piece of shit. Ray, you bought it for $800. Get it to run through the lane and somebody else will buy it.
Oh my goodness.
Speaking of eggs, bird flu has wiped out 27 million chickens. Eggs are through the roof. No yolk. Thank you, Jake.
Yes, that's true. I saw a dozen range-free organic large eggs at the store, $9 for a dozen. $9. Now, if you got the regular old average eggs that had none of that premium
Right.
sort of organic stuff associated with it, $4.99.
So almost half price.
Yeah.
Can you taste the difference?
I don't know that I can, but I do notice that the yolk for a premium egg
They're like
Is-
orange.
it bright orange.
Yeah.
And it seems to me when I eat cooked eggs from the darker yolk. It seems to me to be a richer, more flavorful.
When we were in London, we got breakfast, and the eggs were always orange.
Yeah,
They weren't yellow.
yeah,
Because Europe has so many different food things, restrictions.
yeah.
They're all organic eggs probably over there.
Well, that's probably
Basically.
true. The milk in Ireland, oh my goodness, you'll never have better tasting milk than the milk we had in Ireland. The butter is unbelievable.
There's the picture.
Oh dear.
I don't know if you can see the smoke.
That's a lot of steam. Well, it's
Yeah.
not smoke.
Steaming.
That's steam. Yeah, that's
Yeah. It looks good though.
You know what? Part it out. There's at least $1,500 worth of parts in that car.
No, he'll just send it. Somebody will buy it at the other auction.
Maybe it can be fixed.
I bet you, because there weren't enough people there at that early auction, they let it go for $800. He'll run through the mech shop. They might have to announce something, but just do it red light. I bet you somebody buys that car for $1,500 easily.
There you
But
go.
after all your fees, what did you make? $100? You spent your whole day. Well,
Yeah.
you gave us entertainment, so thank you, Ray.
Content.
All right, I got to stop talking. I got 2 shows tonight.
All right.
We'll see you. I guess next week we'll find out. We got to do things here and there.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to a friend's house today.
Yes, he's
In his garage. He's having a bit of a garage. He's got some collector items, so maybe we'll have a little show and tell next week if we
There you
buy
go.
a couple of things.
absolutely.
All right. Well, if anybody doesn't, if you want to get rid of us during, want to get a hold of us during the week, by all means, feel free to reach out to us by any of the means necessary. I think our text number's gone because not one person used it.
Oh, okay.
The 610 CarYada. I let it go. All right, that's all. Time for the song that we'll be singing until 2 this afternoon.
See ya.